Welcome to tea time. Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing? I am doing great. I'm feeling so delicious. That's the word. I'm feeling delicious in the sense of just really easy today. Like, I don't have any plans to go anywhere. I may have to run an errand, but it's one of those Saturdays where it's raining outside and you kind of just want to be easy. You're not into too much excitement. You don't even want visitors. It's that kind of day, okay? You just want to be relaxed and be in and out of your bed doing what you want to do. For me, it's going to be work. I am going to be working today, but I just don't want too much excitement today. I just knew that this weekend was going to be a chillax weekend. And that's the vibe I'm in. So I figured, hey, why not jump on and just catch up with you guys? Do a quick tea time episode. Maybe we could do a tea time truths, just touch on something that's hot right now. And you know what's hot? It's all about being caught at Coldplay. Okay. We're going to talk about truths and transformation, the Astronomer CEO story, and just really dive into how it's such a beautiful example that we can all learn from. There's definitely a bunch of lessons in it, and while it's gone viral and there's a whole heap of excitement about that part, I really want to kind of tune into what's beneath all of the drama because there's going to be gossip. It's just right now he's the gossip and she's the gossip, but there's always something that's happening around us that is just a really, really great example of life. So I see somebody's writing to me on TikTok. I cannot read this. Your hair is really nice on you. Oh, thank you so much. I am kind of enjoying my hair myself. Thank you. Yeah, guys. So this morning we're talking about being caught at Coldplay, and the conversation I want to have is really about truth and transformation, because when these things happen and they go viral, everybody gets caught up in the gossip, and it's like, oh my gosh, and it's the hot thing, and every WhatsApp group is talking about it. I went out with a couple of girlfriends of mine last night for drinks, and of course it was the hot topic. We invited somebody else that was in the restaurant over, and it was, and everybody's just like, why is it such a hot topic? So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to understand, what is the fascination with the fact that this man and his lover, also his employee, got, caught in clearly what they wanted to keep a secret. And just the different thoughts that came up about it. I mean, I have my thoughts. I have my thoughts. They may not be popular opinion, but who cares? That's what tea time is about. So we're going to talk about that today. The whole thing is diving right into the buzz of it, right? And it was a shocking video. Shocking, not because they were literally caught like naked, or they were caught making out. Like, none of those things actually happened. That's not what occurred, right? It was shocking because it went viral. That's really where the shock came from. Because if they had done the kiss cam and the guy had kissed her and she had kissed him back, or they had waved or what, nobody would have heard about it the next day. But because him literally, like, him want to chuck off of the bandstand and jump out of the stadium, and she now realized that, oh my God, he's jumping out of the stadium, leaving me, and she decided that she's going to try to shrink to a toddler size on camera. That's why it went viral. That's why it became shocking. Okay, this is the head of HR and the CEO. So both individuals who are married to other people, not each other, right? They've now resigned, and I'm sure they're dealing with all the different kinds of things in their personal life. I don't really want to rehash the gossip because I think you guys are familiar with the gossip. I really want to kind of understand why it's relevant. There's a ton of backlash on the video, And I think it just illustrates a really critical lesson on alignment between your inner world, and that equals like your values, your thoughts, your beliefs, and your outer actions, particularly when those outer actions are in the public eye. Because clearly, if they were not in public on a kiss cam at one of the most loved bands concerts, Coldplay, because Coldplay has a massive following. If it wasn't like that, we wouldn't be talking about this today, right? It invites us into a space of self reflection. You really get to assess how you would respond if you were in a situation where the things that you're living out in your life don't align with what's going on your inside. So while everybody wants to talk about these guys, the reason people are so hot and bothered about these guys is because it hits something on your inside. If it doesn't ding your inside, then you don't care. You're not going to talk about it. It doesn't matter. But if it is nudging at your inside, if it's not, like, hey, think about that, then it wouldn't matter. It's like, let me check on my personal integrity and self-awareness, because ultimately that's what shapes your destiny, right? So as you know, it's tea time. I am this morning having Indian chai, straight out of India, literally. I got my tea leaves when I was in India in February. Oh, it's nice and hot, not too sweet. And since I like to talk and it's always getting cold. So grab your tea. I don't know what your warm cup of joy is. Maybe it's coffee. Did you guys see that I got an espresso machine? I got an espresso machine, guys, and I'm learning how to use it. Or I have learned how to use it. I'm much better than I was the first time. I did a video of the first time on TikTok. I was a hot mess. Anywho, let's pull a card today. Oh, this card is all about receiving and accepting abundance. I was just talking about getting my espresso machine. I stand in the knowing that all wealth, beautiful life, and delicious experiences are mine to be had. So this is actually a really great card for today's conversation about the whole astronomer drama, right? Because if you actually stand in the belief and the knowing that wealth, beautiful life, and abundance is yours to be had, then you wouldn't be, fired from your job, because it says they resigned. But truth be told, we know they got fired. We know that the board or the bosses told them that, So in the same way, in the same way that you see where this woman is receiving all the wealth and abundance, like it's literally like gold pouring down from the sky, right? That's literally what this card is about. It's like gold is pouring down from the sky, representing wealth and abundance and a beautiful life. And she knows she can have that, right? I think that's because whatever is happening on her insides, her values, her thoughts, her beliefs, that's what her outer world is experiencing. Now, I know you guys may be thinking, but isn't everybody thinking that these guys, they should get loaded up and they should get, maybe not. I was hearing all these different kind of perspectives, right? So here's my hot take. Here's a tea time take. What we're seeing unfolding publicly with the guy, the CEO and the HR lady from Astronomer, is really a snapshot of the inner disharmony that they're both experiencing, manifesting externally, right? When there's misalignment between our thoughts, our values, and our actions, it creates energetic friction. It creates friction. And what happens is our outer reality is going to mirror our inner consciousness. Nothing is hidden. Whatever you're creating inside is what you're experiencing outside. That's basically what it boils down to. So another way that we can look at it, which may also be an unpopular opinion, they were both really, or he was, or she was, it could be one or both of them, really at odds or feeling a lot of discord and trepidation about what they were doing in private. Even though when they came up on the screen, they looked very happy together. I don't know if you guys saw, most people are thinking about the last part of the video when they were hiding. But what really got my attention was the first part of the video. I mean, they looked so in love. Whether them in love with themselves or them in love with each other or them in love with Coldplay, they looked so happy and present and just wrapped up in the experience that they were having. But clearly, there was stuff going on inside. And maybe it's because, maybe they weren't happy in their marriages. I don't know. Maybe they weren't happy in their marriages and they really want to be in relationship with each other. Maybe they were breaking up. Maybe we don't know what was going on between them and their spouses at home. We actually don't know what's going on at home. Right? And so the external experience and the external stuff that was created really was now a validation of the discord that's happening within each of them or within both of them. So that discord, that inner discord, the misalignment with the joy that they were expressing on the outside is really what created the bag of drama. Yeah, that's really what it is. Some of the key things: authenticity versus image. Right? Maybe it is that they were on the brink of divorce. Maybe they were the couples were separated. Maybe they were planning it and they were just like hating the fact that they had to be in the dark. Maybe they really love each other and really they don't like that they had to be hiding their relationship. And so, as luck would have it, as alignment of life would have it, you don't want to hide, that you guys are in love and wanting to be together. Then guess what? Let's just put it out there for the entire world to see. Like maybe they have conversations in private about, we really wish we could just have our relationship out in the open. We really wish we could just let go of this falseness that, we're just coworkers and just be fully in the light of our basking love experience. Maybe that's what they were wishing for. Maybe that's what he would tell her at night. Honey, I really love you and I wish, we didn't have to hide. We don't know what kind of conversations they were having, but clearly it was not about being behind the scenes. Whatever desires they had that were their authentic desires, that were authentic things that they wanted to express and be truthful in how that inner experience wanted to show up. That's what was showing up. And, it's going viral because as a society, I believe, global society, the general conversation, the imaged conversation that happens is there should be shame in what they are doing, and there should be discord in what they're doing, and publicly they should be made to feel shame. And so there's a whole lot of that, and then everybody catched, and it's like a hot topic, and it's like the heat, and it's oh my God. But for everybody that is living on this earth, there are things in your present life that are out of alignment. There are things where internally you may have an experience, and externally, you're having thoughts and things that don't align with your values, and then externally it's not necessarily coming out in the way that you want it to come out. Right? So I like it as an example because I think that people genuinely have their own circumstances that they are navigating, and the inner self, the way that you're living your life on the inside, the thoughts that you're having, the values that you're a lot of times in some areas they don't match the outside. Maybe it's not in your love life. Maybe your love life is great, and maybe how your thoughts and your values and your belief systems, all of those things line up with what's happening on your in your outer world. And so the gap between who you say you are and who you truly are is non-existent, right? For them, it was a big gap. Clearly, there was a gap between what was going on the inside, who they say they are, which, clearly at work, maybe they were saying that we're not romantically involved, right? And who they truly are, which is romantically involved. There was a gap. And so there is greater risk for self-sabotage, because ultimately it's self-sabotage. Maybe she didn't want to be in the relationship anymore, but she didn't know how to end it because she really loved this guy. Or him just like having him little catty, and he actually maybe really enjoys having his wife and the girl. And him just wants to just have that. He's like, this is really what I would love to have. I would love to be at the Coldplay concert. Maybe my wife don't like Coldplay, but I love Coldplay. My girl loves Coldplay. I would love to just go to the Coldplay concert with her and be good. Maybe that's what's going on inside of him. Y'all don't know. But in your life, you know what's going on within you that speaks to, something happening in here that you're not truly living out. We all have moments where we self-sabotage our lives. We self-sabotage, whether it's our jobs or it's, your career, or you're starting a business. There's so many of us that are working in jobs that we do not like. We're working in jobs that we don't like. And so we have a gap. Inwardly, we are like at pains. But you show up at work and you're grinding through. But then there's some kind of self-sabotage that's happening where eventually, if you are not standing in your own power, then they'll let you go. Right? It could also be, if it's not a love relationship, it could be friendships. A whole heap of us are fake friends. So yeah, Mr. Coldplay, Astronomer CEO, gone viral. But a lot of y'all out here, I used to do that a long time ago. I don't have any of those situations anymore, thank God, because I've had to work at cleaning that up in my own life, where I have had friends that I don't want to be friends with, because just value-wise and belief-wise, we just don't line up. But there's a part of me that wanted to be accepted, or a part of me that didn't want to rock the boat, or is a friend from a long time, and you feel bad because you don't want to make them feel bad. Or maybe it's a group that you're in and you don't want to risk not being able to be in the group anymore. There's just lots of different ways that this can play out. Yeah. And in this instance with these guys, where it played out publicly, it just sent everything viral. So you just have to pressure test. You have to look at your life. Look in all the 4 quadrants. Look in your career space. Am I doing what I really want to do? Am I self-sabotaging here? Am I literally like every day in pain because I have to show up at this place? But when I go there, I'm, going through the motions because of whatever the reason is, whether it is that the money, you don't want to let go because you're worried that you're not going to find something new, or, it's a favor that you're doing for a friend. I don't know what, your situation is, but what is it that's keeping me in this job that's really not aligned with who I am or who I want to be? What's keeping me in this relationship that is not aligned with who I am or who I want to be? That if somebody at a Coldplay concert put up a camera, I'm going to see myself fully living out what I've been hiding from, the truth I've been hiding from. One of the popular opinions that came up last night when we were talking about it at dinner in terms of just the authenticity versus the image was the conversation about, well, if it was a Jamaican, them wouldn't duck, them wouldn't hide. It wouldn't be like, because Jamaicans are very accustomed to being in the space of having more than one partner. So when I say accustomed to it, I'm not trying to say that people like it. I'm just saying it seems to be culturally something that people talk about all over the place. They oftentimes put it on the men and say that, Jamaican man always have only a woman, but women do it too. Jamaican woman will have only a man, right? So there was that conversation that if it was a Jamaican person, them wouldn't duck. It would have been just, yeah, okay, hey, Coldplay with them on the camera. They might have a bust a kiss, right? That was a part of the conversation. Another part of the conversation was maybe, if they were really okay with being together, they wouldn't have hidden. Them would have just keep on rocking and it wouldn't have become a viral video. There was a conversation that they shouldn't have been there in the first place. Like, why are you going to a Coldplay concert and it's a concert and Coldplay apparently does the kiss cam all the time. So why are you going to a concert where you can't be on the kiss cam? Just stay at your yard or stay at your hotel or your Airbnb or wherever you usually meet up. There is just lots of different perspectives on it. I just like the fact that it shows that as individuals, we oftentimes, in any area of your life, it don't just have to be your love life, in your health and wellness space. That's another place where people are always like, in inner self speaks to, I know I need to be eating healthy. I know that my doctor has said I have high blood pressure or I'm at risk for stroke. I know this is happening in my space and I really should be like, taking better care of myself. Like, we've seen where all of those things happen. That's my ackee and saltfish in the background, guys. That's my breakfast. I cannot wait. It's going to be so delicious. Anyway, a lot of you can identify with that. We're authentically inside. You know that your doctor has said you're at risk for cancer, or you have cancer. You're at risk for diabetes, your blood pressure high, whatever. And you're not going and doing the exercise. I struggled with that at one point in my life also, where the doctor is telling me X, and inside I know, but I'm self-sabotaging externally. I know it. So what we have to do is we have to look at it as a lesson in personal responsibility, not as a time to sit down and gossip about them, but to really take a check on what you are thinking about. All of the gurus and the teachers, myself included, stress that you become what you think about. So what are you thinking about? What exactly is it that you are consistently focused on in your mind? This Astronomer CEO incident serves as a wake-up call to examine your own inner narratives. Are your thoughts aligned with what you actually want your experience to be? And if the experience that you want is to be in integrity with the agreements that you set and to show yourself self-respect, then how are you self-sabotaging? How are you doing things that aren't really going to line up? And what is funny about this? When we talk about personal responsibility, I was having a conversation with somebody else about it, not at my girls' night last night. I was having a conversation with somebody else. And they were saying, the question I asked was, do you think that there are other men and women in high profile jobs, right? I have to put that in there because, I think that has something to do with it. Yeah, that has something to do with it. If this wasn't about a unicorn company, a company that's valued at over $1 billion and is doing really well and is in the news and, whatever. If it wasn't about, I don't know if it would have gotten as much hype, I don't know. What do you think? Would it have gotten as much hype? Would it have been a big deal if he was just, the mailman, and she was just a chick down the road? I don't know. Because people get caught, cheating all the time. So if they weren't big shots, would it have continued to get as viral as it did at Coldplay? That was kind of the first thing. And then the second thing was, do you think that other high profile persons, politicians, government officials, multi millionaires, that if they are observing this astronomer situation and are in a similar thing, do you think that they're going to do this self-reflection that I'm telling you guys to do? Do you think that they're going to do this personal responsibility check and look at, is this kind of what I want to be doing? Okay, yes, it's what I want to be doing. I'm fine, no problem. I'll just keep going. Or do you think they're going to be like, boy, I really just feel like I need to just be public about having multiple relationships, or I need to break up with my at-home person because I'm now wanting to be with this person and I really prefer to be a monogamous. I don't know what lifestyle choices these guys at Astronomer had, but that's the reality. Do you think that other people are checking themselves and saying, do I now want to be kind of low key, make sure I'm not going to Coldplay concerts or basketball games where they have kiss cams? Like, I don't know. And the conversation that I had with this person when I asked the question, they were like, maybe for a couple of days, 48 hours, but then everybody back to normal, doing what they're gonna do, because that's just human nature. Human nature is your mind and your day-to-day actions have you in a habitual behavior. And so when it comes to taking personal responsibility, that's not necessarily gonna shift, because you might take a scare maybe for a week or two or a month, but then habits and that muscle that you've trained of, habitual behavior, it just has you go back to business as usual. What do you think about that? Do you think that persons that would have seen what was happening would have gone back to business as usual? Or do you think that this wake up call, maybe for some people, they would have been like, boy, I really need to change my life and make sure that what I want on the inside is what I'm experiencing on the outside? Are people thinking, are my thoughts and my actions aligned with integrity and self-respect? And what does that look like for me? Does it look like the way that the public made it seem, like is this big scandal? Or is it that I really just, want to live my life the way I want to live my life? Unpopular opinion, but it's okay, right? Negative experiences like what was going on here can really seem like shocking, and people like to gossip about this stuff. It's like a big drama. People like the drama, but people like drama because everybody's life has its own drama in it. And so it's easy to sit down and talk about these guys. But what is true is that we need to be recognizing how this serves up for us. How does this actually show up in your life in any of the four areas? It gives us this negative experience is a powerful invitation for personal realignment, for you to be aligned with your greatness, for you to be aligned with receiving the life that is filled with abundance, that is filled with wealth and beauty. It gives us the opportunity to be self-reflective and to focus on our inner growth and our spiritual alignment. Even scandal, like the Astronomer CEO scandal, I mean, Astronomer is going to go down in the the record books, right? Somebody couldn't read the stars and tell them, said, I mustn't got a Coldplay concert. Hello, Astronomer. Anyway, even scandals like this Astronomer scandal can be a catalyst that leads individuals back to living their authentic truth, right? So how do you live your truth? How do you live your truth? First things first, transparency. Live your truth authentically. Avoid the dual life that causes inner turmoil. I've had many different types of dual lives in my lifetime, and I can tell you that If you decide that you are going to live a particular way, just be comfortable with it and make everybody else know. Be comfortable with it yourself. If you're not comfortable with it, then you're not prepared to live it, period. So transparency is the first one. Responsibility is the R in living your truth. Recognize your accountability for your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Your reality, your outer experience is mirroring your internal alignment. And it mirrors it in different ways. It doesn't have to be this big explosive blow up. It could be ill health. Ill health is one of the ways that your inner life, when it is at discord, shows up in your outer experience, right? So you have to look at recognizing your accountability for your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions, because your reality mirrors your internal alignment. If you're living your life and stuff is not aligned, externally it's going to manifest. It's not about anybody else, it's about you and what your experience of that manifestation is. Now, what is the you in the truth of living your truth? Understanding the consequences. Acknowledge that inner beliefs shape your external outcomes. A lot of people are still walking around acting like life is happening to them and they have zero control over it. You're in a relationship, even the spouses on the other side of this. This is happening to me. You're probably in discord as well at home in your situation. This is not happening to you. You have your 100% accountability or responsibility in this experience as well. Acknowledge that your inner beliefs are shaping your external outcomes. Disharmony within you will inevitably reflect outwardly. And the T, transform your pain into purpose. Even uncomfortable situations can be the beginning of powerful personal evolution. And then honesty, honesty with yourself. I'm not talking about these astronomer people being honest with everybody else, being honest with social media, being honest with Coldplay, being honest with their jobs, or even with their spouse. They have to be honest with themselves first. What do they actually want their life to be? What is the inner discord that they're experiencing? That self-honesty is what matters the most, because if they continue to be dishonest with themselves, then it doesn't matter what situation they're in. They're going to keep having these outward experiences that do not mirror the life that they actually want, the life that's going to bring them joy and alignment. True alignment begins with truthfulness to yourself first. So I'm going to wrap up now. It's been about 30 minutes. I'm having my tea and the frying is getting very loud. So I'm going to wrap up. This incident isn't about judgment. It's not about gossip. It's not about shame. I know that's what social media makes it about. Social media makes the astronomer incident about judgment, about gossip, about shame. That's not what it's about. And that's not what you should get caught up in. What it's actually about is awareness. It is a powerful reminder that our internal world always shapes our external reality. I'm going to say that again. Our internal world, our internal thoughts, beliefs, desires, values always shape our external reality. So let this viral moment inspire you to commit more deeply to your own transparency and authenticity. When we nurture a harmonious inner life, the world around us begins to reflect that peace and that clarity. I gave my own examples earlier of just the discord that you feel inside when you really just want to be free and live your life how you want to live your life. But because we're so worried about the external people, pressures, image, and what everybody else dictates, we sacrifice or self sabotage the desires of our heart. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. How do you maintain your integrity to yourself, especially when you're in difficult situations? Drop your comments. I'm on YouTube as well. You can find the video recording on YouTube. But drop your comments, let me know. I really hope that we had a good chat today, guys, and that you will use this week as an opportunity. It's summertime. It's a great time to find moments to reflect, chill out, relax. As you're spending your family time, I'm going on vacation coming up with my family. As you're spending your family time, just kind of getting into that space of relaxation and fun, use some time to really look around at your life, look at your life and decide for yourself in that moment. This is what I'm living. I love it. Or this is what I'm living. I don't like it. I need to sort it out and do something about it. You have the power to do that. And you can start with one area of your life. It's never too late to start with one area of your life and aligning that area to the way that you actually want to live. Okay? Thank you guys for joining Tea Time. I will see you another episode, usually on Saturdays, depending on what's going on. But just hop on live, guys. We're really easy over here on Tea Time with Stacy Hines. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye. Bye-bye.